Hello people, I'm back with another video. This is part 2 of my GM segment of my collector car series. This is your boy James, and where I left off with this car right here, 1967 Pontiac GTO drop top. This is a Hollywood series car from the MacGyver show. Very unique piece. I'm just giving you like a little bit of research of all the cars that I have and all the history that GM produced as far as muscle cars and everything else. So I'm about to dry this one away. I'll show you another GTO. This is a 1971 Pontiac GTO Judge. Now this is a 71. This is before the 1970 version. As you can see, they changed the front grille of this car. The 70 was a little bit different. I don't have no 70 around here, not yet, but I am looking for one. This also 71. He still had a little bit more horsepower. The compression ratios was going down at that time, but I believe this car still made 370 horses. I think 445 pound-feet of torque. It was a torque monster just like the rest of GM cars it came out with. I'll show you the motor if this hood opens up. Hold on one second. The Judge was a real big popular car for that era. This one don't have decals, but the other Judge cars had decals on it. They usually say the Judge on the side of the car. The reason why GM came out with this car because Mopar had the Roadrunner, and they had Chrysler had the theme of the Roadrunner horn, and he was trying to see what people liked it at that time, and I think it was a show out there. It's called the Laugh-In, and they had a little segment on the show where they will always sing "Here Come the Judge," and GM took that gimmick, put it on this car. It was a pretty good gimmick, by the way. I liked it, but the motors they had in here, they had a 400 that was making 335, 400 pound-feet of torque, I believe. They also had the 455 that was making like 370 horsepower, 450 pound-feet of torque, I believe. I think that was the numbers. The 400 you can get, it was a air induction V8, so it came with a air induction hood with this one. I like this car because once you stepped on the 400 big block with that cold air intake on that car, the moan coming from that 4-barrel carburetor sounded so good to me, and it's a very, very unique sound, and I like the sound of a nice carbureted car. All right, now this is the sad part about the muscle car era. I got two GTOs that was probably still fast at that time, but I believe the horsepower rating went down. This is 1973. Johnny Lightning, Pontiac GTO. Also, the last GTO I showed you, that was Johnny Lightning too. These cars was pretty decent. I believe they still had the big block on the hood of it. I think it was I believe it was still the 455, but they detuned it because the compression ratios is up. This is 1973, so it's when the oil crisis was going on at that time. It was making like 250 horsepower, but still had the torque. I think the minimized torque was 300 some pound-feet of torque, but it was going by net horsepower compared to real horsepower. So that's how they used to do it back in the day. But this is a black one with the red stripes. It has the the lettering on the tires. Charger, I got the Charger Kelly's on here. I got the GTO. It's in red, if you can see. If it focus. You can see it a little bit. This right here is a refreshed body style for 73. So this was brand new. You see the rear end. And Pontiac had this body style all the way until 77, I believe. And actually got that body style right here. This is a police car. This is a 77 Pontiac Le Mans. As you can see, they had the body style all the way until 77, and I guess they downsized, which is supposed to. These two cars are supposed to be mid-size. I also have a orange one too with the black. Black one to me is pretty sweet. I'm gonna tell you a story about these two cars. I originally bought the orange one first. I'm like, okay, I'm done. Finally found something I can really collect. You know, it's a unique piece from Giant Lightning. And I went back to the store again. I seen the black one, so like, oh yeah, I gotta get the black one. So I ended up buying both of them. I bought the orange one first, and I bought the black one secondly. Black one has the black vinyl top with the black racing stripes. Also had the same wheels with the Kelly Chargers on there. Got the GTO sign right there. Very unique pieces. Like I said, you know, this is kind of the sad time of Pontiac and the loss of the horsepower wars, because at between 71 all the way to 73, they start detuning these cars. But you can still put performance in if you wanted to. So you know, but these right here is my favorite two cars. I love, like I said, I love Pontiacs. Pontiacs are my favorite segment for GM. All right. Now we're gonna go to the Oldsmobile part of GM. I'll show you this one. I think I showed y'all this one in another video. This right here is a 1966 Oldsmobile 442. The engine options for this one was a 400. You get it with a 4-barrel. I think you can get it with 350 horse with the 4-barrel carburetor. You also can get the 2.3 barrel carbureted engine, making 360 horse, 440 pound-feet of torque. You either get a 4-speed or automatic. Whole bunch of gear ratios you can use this car. Very, very fast car for that time. This one right here is in the, you know, brown metallic with the black vinyl top. Has the red line wheels. Has the big 400 on the hood of this car. So beautiful. And this car is pretty sweet. Actually, you know, every 442 was based on every Cutlass that Oldsmobile had back in them days, all the way up to 70, all the way up to 77, 78, and beyond. But you know, they had the option with the F85. You could probably get a hot motor in that one too. But you know, this one's pretty decent. I like this car. This is an all-the-world car, by the way. So here we go. Next vehicle to show you as far as the Oldsmobiles. This is a 1968 Oldsmobile 442. This is a Giant Lightning. I got it And it was like a two-piece package that I had. It came with a 68 Corvette, and I had to get both of them. They came in the same package. So I'll show you the 68 Corvette later, but we're gonna focus on this car right here. This body style to me, I love this body style. This one right here had a variety of inches you can choose from with different type of horsepower. You also get a W30 package, which I believe this one is. No, I don't think so. This one is a common 442. No, yeah, you're right. I'm right. This is the W30 package. Horsepower rating was between 325 all the way up to 390 horse to 455 pound-feet of torque. The Hertz version of this car came with a 455 that came out the Tornado. They made it more. They made more performance, put a bigger cam in it, and dropped it in the engine bay, and made a screamer car. These cars are very rare. I like these cars right here. I think this one right here was the 400 with the 370 horse V8. I love this car. I got the dog dish hubcaps with the same color. The same color on the wheels, as far as the color scheme on the car. I actually got two of these. I got one that's open, which is this one, and I have another one that's still in the still on the card, combined with the Corvette that I have. And I got those two for sale. I figured I really don't need two, but if I can't sell them, I'm gonna keep them. So, but yeah, this right here. It's a unique car. It's a nice segment for the muscle car era. Now this right here is another Johnny Lightning. This is a 1970 Oldsmobile Cutlass S, the W31 package. Now this one didn't come with a. This one right here didn't come with a big block. It came with an Oldsmobile 350. They called it the Rocket 350. It was making 325 horses. This right here was a good package for that day, for the muscle car era. It's gonna be lighter because it's got a small block in it. You getting the same amenities the GTO, excuse me, not GTO, the 442 has, but you got a small block making close to 320 horsepower. This right here is a real good package. See a small block under the hood of that car. All GM blocks was painted gold. Not all GM, but all the Oldsmobiles. I mean, that's what I meant to say. But this one's pretty decent. It has the dog dish hubcaps. It has them bi-ply tires, which I watch a few Jay Leno garage shows. He always talking about the bi-ply tires. They came on the muscle cars back in the day, and he said you can easily melt these tires with the torque that these torque monsters had at that time. This car right here is pretty unique, especially for that day. 350 Rocket, making 325 horsepower. I think it was making closer to 360 pound-feet of torque, or closer than 370. But yeah, this is a nice car like this. Try this on back. Now I gotta do it to y'all again. I gotta give you the downsides to the muscle car era. I'm going to the 80s now. This is my last Oldsmobile. This is a 1984 Cutlass Hertz with the his and hers gear shift. This one, the hood doesn't open, but I had to get this car because I needed this body style. Because I already got the 85 SS right there. So I had to get this one. Like this one, like the SS, mediocre horsepower. It wasn't really making too much horsepower. It had mediocre torque. It had a pretty decent torque band. You know, thing was making like 175, 180 horse. For that era, it was pretty streetable horsepower for that time for the 80s. To me, the car of the choice for these body styles was the Grand National. Had way more horsepower and torque out of a turbocharged V6. But this is very nice. I had to get this one. This is also Johnny Lightning. It has the chrome wheels with the letter on it. It has the Hertz on the back of the car with the spoiler. Very unique piece. Now, going to Buick now. I don't have too many Buicks, but this one, I really didn't need that many Buicks. So this one right here is self-explanatory. This is a 1970 Buick GS. Based on the Skylark body style. This one has the 455 Stage 2, making 300. Now, it's funny. It's a funny situation with this car right here. The horsepower rating was at 360, 370 horsepower. But the torque numbers was crazy, 500 pound-feet of torque. Then the reason why they rated this engine at 360 horsepower because of the wars that was going on with the insurance companies back in the day with these muscle cars. Overall, they said this car was making at least 450 horses. So I've seen owners on YouTube with this car, and the way the car take off, it has more horsepower, 360 horsepower to me. But this one right here is a bad car. I love this car right here. One of the bad Buicks of the era. You know, Buick was like the old man's car. But, you know, Buick had to dip their toes in the muscle car segment too. So they did a good job. They really did. This is a nice car, man. This is one of my favorites. Yeah, that's it, man. I'll just show you what I have, like I said before. I enjoy my collection. This will be probably one of my last videos until probably next weekend that's coming up. I'll show you some more. I might do a Trans Am segment. It's between Trans Am segment or a police segment of all my cars that I collect. So anyway, I'll see y'all later. I hope y'all enjoyed my video, and God bless. Keep on collecting.